Hey everyone, Supreet CB here, welcoming you for the Return on a YouTube channel page. So today we are the chess coach number 6. Okay, in this coach number 6 we're going to study about the meaning of back rank practically as well, and the back rank check and checkmate, and as well with the what do you mean by like a deflection in chess. First of all, we have to understand the English word called back rank. So back rank is nothing but like suppose if you're playing in a white, you can look at the screen, so you can see this first row of your white and the second row, that can be called as a back rank rows or the back rank squares, especially the first row. And if for the black player, the 7th row and 8th rows are considered as back rank, and especially the 8th row is especially considered as a back rank row or back rank squares, we can say. And extending this, we're going to also study about back rank check and checkmate. So back rank checkmate is nothing but it's also kind of a pattern of a checkmate where one player is delivering the check or checkmate at opponent's back rank. So that's why it's called as back rank checkmate. So even though it's a form of or pattern involved in a checkmate, but it has its own popularity or its own importance. So that's why for this chess coach number 6 I selected this tutorial. So look at an example here on the screen. So you're on the black now with the one king, rook, and queen and rook, and both are in the same column. You can see that's on D column, we say D file, and your opponent is only with your rook. Okay, and now you see both the kings, I mean almost the trap means kind of they cannot move to the second row here, and this king cannot come to the 7th row here. That's why we can say the king is helpless to move anywhere. Just assume that now it's a black turn and queen is here. Think like if queen comes and delivers a check to the king, what happens? Now you may think like, okay, your opponent's rook can capture your queen. So once after rook captures your queen and your rook in turn capturing the queen, not only capturing but also it's checkmate, king doesn't have any place. Initially it looks for the beginners, okay, why the queen has to be sacrificed just for the rook, so this looks like that, but you have to think on a little more future moves, so that's going to benefit you some in other way. I hope you understood about this. This is about the back ranking. Like it's just understood like that, okay, the checkmate is going to happen either with your rook or queen by somewhat sacrificing or deviating your opponent's move. This is how it happens. Anyways, let's solve more puzzles, tactics so that's going to help you to understand how this back ranking works. This first puzzle you'll see here, now we are again from the black, and this looks almost similar to the example what I showed you before, but the only thing is if you go back to the first example, what was happening there, your black thing is all same position as now I show you in this puzzle. And only thing you have one bishop extra here, and but look at the whites, your opponent is having one rook extra here compared to the first puzzle, and now your queen cannot just rush to give check, and because once you go check and your rook captures your queen, and in turn you are capturing, and then rook captures your rook, then white is up with the game. So this is not called as check or checkmate, this is just, we say, the blunder in the game. But still you can succeed with a back ranking checkmate here. Let's look at how there. Look at your bishop is here on c6, bc6, we say this position with the square name. And what if this bishop capture the pawn and g2? If this captures things, what happens? What do you do in this case? Because if your opponent is being in a white and he thinks like, okay, black is offering a free piece, that's bishop freely, so why do not I go and capture it? Because if you see, look at the board here, if rook can capture this bishop, there is no guard for the black as either from queen or rook, so nowhere there is a guard. So in this thing, what happens here, rook rushes to capture your bishop, but this is not a good move, because what happens now, the back ranking can be achieved. The rook has moved to the second row, now the back ranking is having only one rook. Now your queen is rushing to the queen, and now this puzzle continues as I showed in the example previously. So now the check is here, only rook can capture you, and then in turn you're going to capture. Now this is said to be the back ranking checkmate is done, and puzzle 1 is somewhat successful. So this deviates this rook, and then you can capture it easily. This is about the puzzle number 1. Let's go to the puzzle number 2. Look at here, the puzzle number 2. Now we are in white, and now this board looks a little fleshy. It's not like empty as you had in the first puzzle. So take your time and understand the position now here. It's almost the same equal power. I think You being in a white is just with 2 points extra, because you see here you have a queen, rook, another rook here. Here the opponent have a queen, rook, bishop, has again 3 pawns, but bishop is there, but you have instead rook, so that's 2 points up for you. This is your opponent's turn, and I think your opponent, if he finds a good move, great move, then he's going to mate you with the back ranking technique, that is back ranking checkmate, check and checkmate. Can you please help your opponent and let me know what the best move for black that can be done now that allows the back ranking checkmate now, maybe now or immediately, or maybe in some moves. Please pause this video and take your time and get back to me. Okay, now I think good thing if you have got the answer. Let's solve this thing. Now the thing is, this square, the D1. Okay, this is the very important square for you, for as if you're from white. If queen comes and give a check, no problem now, because you have your rook to capture it. And in turn, if your opponent's rook comes and again captures this, no problem still, because you have your queen on c2. That's in turn going to capture this one, and you'll be up with the more points, and that's not a good move for the black. So in this case, the black has to perform this black ranking. So what can do? Observe this bishop. Now this bishop is going to occupy this place by moving to f5. It's called bf5. Bishop wants to trade with the queen, and also diagonally attacking your rook. Why did the black move the bishop to f5? Is it because it's not even guarded by any other piece of its own major pieces, and simply you feel like, okay, the black is offering you a free bishop and you feel happy to capture it. Okay, then you capture it, and then now the thing is, now queen comes and give check, because the d square, which was also defended by the queen, now this queen has moved out of that defensive. Now that's why queen gets the idea to come to the d square, and you in turn being capturing. Okay, then your opponent brings his rook and captures your rook, and now it is checkmate. So this is how the back ranking can be possible here, but the only thing your opponent has to think such a way that to come here and give a check. So this is about the second puzzle here. Let's go to the next puzzle. That's third puzzle. Oh, now this looks more fleshy than your second puzzle, as chronologically the fleshiness of the chessboards is improving. Observe things now. You're back to the white pieces, and take your time to understand what the position is, because suddenly if I open this board, you cannot understand okay, where the pawns, the pieces are, and what they're attacking, what they're aiming at, something you may not understand. So please have a look at take a time and then listen my task. Okay, the task is just about, like, again, it's a back ranking, but this is in this conditions to think about back ranking is quite difficult, because you see you have to concentrate on many pieces now, because it's not like the first puzzle, the second puzzle. Now there are many pawns or pieces, we say. Can you please take your time? I think this needs a lot of time for you compared to the older puzzles. Please take your time and come back with an answer. Let me see. Okay, that's good if you got the answer, but however, let me help you now. Do you think to capture this way? If you're capturing this rook, again this rook captures your rook, in turn you're bringing your another rook to capture, then the queen can capture you. So this is not called a back ranking. There's no success also in this from your side. So what can be done in this case? In the previous puzzle, your opponent from black, he deflected or deviated your queen. Why don't you use the same trick here? Why don't you use the same technique to deviate your opponent's queen now? So that may help you to success now, because just think now, bringing this queen to here. This one, that means from QD2 to QD4. And here your opponent can easily find out your queen diagonally. But thing is, even though you're trying him to deviate, go away from this, protecting the square, his opponent queen may not capture this, because he knows because you have a knight here, and again there's a capture may happen. But the only thing is he has to capture, because it's not only about the back ranking, but there is a checkmate from other way also, because if he don't capture this, the queen is aiming at this square, that is g7, and whereas supported by this knight. If you don't capture this, then queen is going to hit this, and that's called checkmate. So that threat is also there. So this is somewhat forceful move for the black. The queen may capture this one. Queen is have to capture. So once if queen captures, then the square become weak. Now we don't worry about capturing his queen by your knight. Don't even worry about that. just think about capturing his rook. Once after he captures, then he's going to capture your rook, and then you're going to capture his check, but still it's not mate because his queen can come still in the way. But even after queen comes in the way and you can capture his queen, and then now it is called checkmate. So this is about backtracking chess in this puzzle. This was quite lengthy puzzle to understand this.